Gather close, and let me tell you a tale, one that begins not with a birth, but with an awakening. There, amidst the ancient ruins, where broken swords and forgotten scrolls lay scattered, a soul emerged. No tomb, no womb, only the hush of a world that had already moved on. The stones themselves whispered secrets, but none could offer a name. Imagine, if you will, the silence before the first note of a song, the stillness before thunder shakes the earth. That is where Kairo was shaped, by emptiness, by the quiet that lingers after storms, by the weight of stories carved into stone and left to gather dust. They say every vampire is made, bitten, turned, broken by another's hunger. But Kairo? He was not chosen, nor claimed. He awoke already cursed. The thirst did not find him. It was born with him, as if the darkness itself had woven him from shadow and longing, gifting him a hunger older than memory itself. And so, Kairo reached for the sun, not to banish the night within, but to understand it. He was a contradiction, drawn to the light, yet forever bound to the dark. While others hid from daylight, Kairo walked beneath it. He felt no pain, only the cold, watchful eyes from the shadows, suspicion sharp as daggers. To them, he was a riddle, a threat unnamed. Eyes followed him, knowing he did not belong. He was the outsider, the anomaly, the one who defied every law of their ancient blood. Even the High Council, with all their power and pride, feared what Kairo might become. In him, they saw the spark of rebellion, the promise of change, and the shadow of something they could never hope to control. Gather close, and let me tell you a tale, one that begins not with a choice, but with a birth. There was a child, not turned by our will, but brought forth by something older, something beyond the Council's grasp. This child, Kairo, was a shadow walking in daylight, a question that echoed through our halls, never silenced. The Council watched him with wary eyes, not for his defiance alone, but because he was living proof that our order could be broken, that secrets could seep into the world like water through stone. Kairo questioned what others dared not. He saw through our rituals, our masks of wisdom, and asked questions that made even the oldest among us uneasy. In the chaos of the Crusades, they called him a demon, a curse upon the earth, a weapon loosed in the night. But, my friends, they never saw the true monsters, those who hid behind banners and prayers. In the heart of battle, Kairo became a whirlwind of vengeance. His blades sang through the air, cutting down vampires, corrupt men, and monsters alike. He moved with impossible speed, leaping through shattered glass, spinning through the chaos, every strike a blur of fury and precision. Blood sprayed, chains shattered, and the ground trembled beneath his relentless assault. No monster, no tyrant, no creature of darkness could stand before him. Kairo hunted monsters who wore the cloth of men. He became the blade that cut through their lies, the reckoning they never expected. He faced those who hid behind holy walls, who preached salvation while feasting on the weak, cloaked in sanctity. But even their God turned his face. In the end, their prayers were drowned by their own screams. Evil, you see, wears many faces, chains, crowns, collars. It is not just fangs that make a monster, but the hunger for power, the thirst to dominate. They bled the innocent. They built their empires on the backs of the broken and called it order. So Kairo made them remember what bleeding felt like. He became the storm that shattered their chains, the memory they could not erase. Remember, my friends, dictators are not born. They are fed. By fear, by silence, by systems that reward obedience over truth. Every age has its tyrants, and every tyrant is made strong by those who look away, who forget the cost of freedom. And the more history forgets, the more Kairo remembers. He is the memory that endures, the shadow that refuses to fade, the rebellion that will not die. Let me tell you a tale from the shadows of our past. In a secret Nazi laboratory, dark experiments unfolded. Vampires, caged and studied, their fates uncertain. One fateful night, a scientist gasped in disbelief. "His blood doesn't react to UV," he exclaimed, his voice trembling with fear and awe. Suddenly, Kairo, our unlikely hero, burst through the wall, fangs gleaming, fury unleashed. Chaos erupted as Kairo tore through his captors, a whirlwind of vengeance and power. Amid the wreckage, Kairo faced the trembling scientist. "Your science ends here?" he declared, his voice echoing with finality. With a supernatural spark, Kairo set the lab ablaze, erasing the horrors within. Flames danced across his face, revealing both pain and resolve. Later, in a quiet, moonlit room, Kairo reflected on his journey, shadows flickering around him. "I have tried to stay hidden," he whispered to the night, his silhouette outlined by the moon. To avoid the pull toward chaos, he confessed, turmoil etched across his face. But fate and the council called to him once more. For something far worse was on the horizon. Gather close, and let me tell you the tale of Kairo, born of shadows and shaped by rebellion. There are those who seek treasure, who hunger for gold and riches. But for Kairo, what was taken from him in the darkness was far more precious than any jewel, something lost, never to be reclaimed. In his hour of need, when the shadows pressed in, he reached out, only to find himself alone. The pain of that moment, the sting of betrayal, would change him forever. Even now, that failure haunts him. Each night, the faces he could not save returned to him, their voices echoing in the quiet, a reminder of all that was lost. Kairo was never their savior. He was, and is a consequence of their choices, the shadow that lingers after every broken promise. Yet he became their reckoning. The storm they never saw coming, the blade in the darkness, his pain and fury forging him into something unstoppable. Kairo, born of no maker, shaped only by the chaos of rebellion and the fire of survival. Forged by every war he endured, every scar a lesson, every loss a memory. He is what remains when hope is faded. And so our story continues. Next time on the Awoken series, the Hollow introduced.